Hey, I'm Justin Clark with Veterans Referring Veterans, and today I'm super excited because I have Art with me with the CVMA Chapter 3-2 with the Pikes Peak region. Did I say that all right?
Yep.
So today, obviously later we're going to be talking with the CVMA and what their mission is, but even more important right now, we're here to talk to you about the Mission to Zero. So Art's here to tell us about that. And so this event's taking place on August 11th, so if you want to go ahead and tell us what that's all about.
Yeah, so I mean, everybody's aware about the plague that's attacking the veteran community. In September 2018, the VA released a report on veteran suicide, and since 2008, between 2008 and 2016, on average, 6,000 veterans commit suicide per year. So that's averaging at 20 veterans per day. So it's a little bit less than the 22 we're all familiar with. But still pretty significant. So we got together as a chapter of the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association and came up with the idea of taking advantage of the natural resource we have that's called Pikes Peak Mountain. It's America's mountain. It's the most visited mountain in the United States. Averages during the summer over 4,000 visitors per day. So it's a very significant location for people to come to vacation and to just enjoy that scenery. We partnered with Green Mountain Falls, which is a small town that's in the shadow of Pikes Peak Mountain. And in the summertime, it's actually a very popular destination for different fairs and events, car shows, art galleries, and art displays. And we're just going to take their last weekend of their summer to hold our event. So the venue is going to be at Green Mountain Falls, Colorado. They have a beautiful little lake in there, and it's a perfect venue to set up vendor booths and have live music. We're going to have a beer garden as well, and then there's also local restaurants that'll be open to service the folks there. Starting off on the event early that morning, we're going to have a motorcycle ride from the gate of Pikes Peak Mountain Park all the way to the summit. The road is going to be exclusively for motorcycles. That starts at 6:30 a.m. And then the folks will come back and go to Green Mountain Falls, where the main event starts at 9 a.m. in the morning. This is not a motorcycle only event. This is open to the public. It's actually free to the public. They just come out and enjoy the live music and hopefully the vendors that are out there selling their wares and supporting a good cause. So all proceeds, 100% of the proceeds, are going to an organization called Battle Forge Nation. You can find them at battleforgenation.org. They are a national level organization made strictly of volunteers. They provide first response to veterans in need, and the way they do that is through crowdsourcing. They use social media platforms where people report knowing veterans that are distressed, in need, and then the quick reaction force that's all made up of all volunteers launch into contacting the veteran and his family members to locate the veteran if in some cases they're missing. And they provide them assistance. So they either link them with different resources that might be creating the atmosphere in which they feel that they have nowhere to turn. Sometimes it's they need rent money, or they're facing an eviction, or they have substance abuse, or they need spiritual counseling, or they need mental health counseling. The QRF team are trained. And we have several other organizations that they have partnered with that provide case management. So, for example, here in Colorado, we're partnering with Mount Carmel, which provides quite a bit of assistance to veterans, whether it's job placement, whether it's mental health, substance abuse counseling, rent, that sort of thing. So this is going to be a great event. It's the first one of its kind. So this is the inaugural event. It's our intention to make this an annual event. And just for the folks that are into the motorcycles, it's a state-sanctioned event for the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association, which means that all the chapters get credit. if they show up and participate in the event. So it's pretty neat. Again, a lot of great support from folks out there.
Right on, right on. So if somebody, so you had mentioned one obviously what my big passion is too with vendors. So my goal is to make as many vendors out there as possible to be veteran owned. So vendors that are out there, they don't have to be local. They can be anywhere in the U.S. So how would they get in contact with you or how do they go about getting onto the vendor list?
Sure. So there's two ways of doing that. We're online. I mean, we have a website. You go through the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association Chapter 3-2. You just type it in Google and it'll pop up. So you can
We'll
go
put
through.
the link on. I'll try.
So you can and we have a tab in our homepage that is specifically to the Pikes Peak Mission to Zero. Once you open that tab, there's a whole section for sponsors that gives you the sponsor packet, and there's an intro letter that I put together, and then there's a packet itself that gives you the different price ranges and what you get for those different price ranges. And then further down, there's a pre-registration form, and that's just for folks that are planning on riding up Pikes Peak Mountain. There's waiver form, that sort of thing.
Right on, right on. Yeah. So yeah, and obviously he had just mentioned the sponsors. So you still got room for sponsors. You got different tiers, levels of sponsors that can come out and support this event. Obviously, everything's going towards with what we're doing with Battle Forge Nation. And I personally, actually last month, we had a vet reach out, and I went through with the CVMA, we went through with Battle Forge, and we got this gentleman some help, and so he's getting taken care of. So I know personally that these guys are putting their money where their mouth is. They're really doing good things. So I think it's great. I think this thing could be absolutely huge. If you see this event where it's at, they've got a really big, nice stage. It can be family friendly, and obviously with these different vendor booths that are out there, the more we can get that are actually pure veterans, I think is just going more to support that cause as well. So
yeah, I mean, for people that aren't familiar with Green Mountain Falls, I mean, it's a small Colorado town. It's a mountain town, and in the summertime, it's a vacation area. So a lot of people rent the cabins right along the ridge line of the mountain, and literally it's right next to Pikes Peak. I mean, Pikes Peak National Forest is right next to it. They do events every weekend during the summer. We're basically tagging at the very end of their summer events. So we're literally Green Mountain Falls' last major event in their summer, and just Coloradans in general, and especially folks in the El Paso County and Teller County, they're just accustomed to going to Green Mountain Falls because it's just a nice little town. They've got some nice little restaurants. They got a park for kids and that sort of thing. So it is absolutely a perfect venue for an event such as this.
It's literally 15 minutes up from Colorado Springs here. You got Woodland Park. That's another. You keep driving through it. Woodland Park's on the other side, and then Cripple Creek the following week after. They're doing their big veterans thing too. Yeah. Which if you come out, if you're from out of state, you're coming out here. You come down and hang out. Have that weekend and then hang out that following week for a big veteran festival that's going on up there.
No, that's a great point. And again, we're planning on making this an annual event. And depending on how it grows, I mean, this year is only a one-day event, mainly because of beta testing to make sure that the time frame of the year is right and that sort of thing. But the intent in the future is to make this a weekend event, both Saturday and Sunday. And the beauty of it being this specific weekend is that it can be tied to the Cripple Creek event, which is also a major event, but that's more geared towards motorcycle community. But there are events that go throughout the week that support Cripple Creek. For example, on Wednesdays when we escort the Vietnam Veterans Wall, and then Friday there's a poker run, and then you go into the Cripple Creek event. So it's not to say that in the out years that we can tie the Pikes Peak Mission to Zero to the Cripple Creek event and make this a week-long event, similar to like a Sturgis and that sort of thing, although not as much on motorcycle, right? That'd be great. That'd be awesome. That scares the hell out of me.
Green Mountain Falls is like, what?
Right, exactly. So, but no, hey, you got to have the vision, and this is going to be a really good event. I mean, the cause, it's indisputable that the cause is the right cause. I mean, it's just everybody I've spoken to are absolutely 100% on board. And they support it. We're partnering with a lot of different nonprofit organizations that are also going to establish booths out there to provide information to the community, to veterans that are participating. We have companies that are going to have their HR people that are the recruiters, showing them here are the job opportunities in the Colorado Springs area. So it's going to have a lot of opportunities for the folks, and I think it's going to be a kind of a magnet for different folks with different reasons and that sort of thing. So
yeah, and if you're honestly anybody that's wanting to have a vendor booth out here, I think this could be a huge draw across the U.S. So not only with jobs here in Colorado, but if you've got something, because our reach is huge, if you've got something that you need out in whatever, in Connecticut or New York, whatever, this could be a very good place to establish some different contacts, because if everybody's kind of migrating into this center state here, all obviously around this awesome cause, it could be really, really good. So anybody that's out there that wants to be a part of this, bring down your families, bring down everybody. I don't ride anymore, but I'm 100% behind this. We're going to be out there. So you don't have to be riding a motorcycle. Bring out the families. We want to make this as family friendly as possible, and obviously highlighting, the ride at the top of the peak. So I think that's absolutely incredible. So.
Yeah, and I think what's important for the potential small businesses that would want to participate in this, the fee that you'd be charged for, that's it. There's no other hidden fees, so you don't have to get a business license for a day or whatever it is. That Green Mountain Falls is actually waiving all that for us, especially for our veteran-owned small businesses. So what you pay for a 10x10 booth, for example, that's what you pay. There's no more to it.
And that's going to our 501, so that's a tax write-off for all you business people.
Yeah, the chapter, the CVMA 32 chapter, that's a 501c3 chapter, and Battle Forge Nation is also a 501c3. So that was part of our criteria for selecting who we were going to support, whether or not they were a 501c3, and then how they manage their budget. The making sure that whatever overhead cost they have is below a certain threshold, so that you're not giving money to an organization that,
they're driving away in a Lamborghini
as
soon as the event's done.
Battle Forge Nation, just to give everybody a little bit of a insight about them, their budget is extremely limited, and it's actually funded by the officers that make up the board of directors. So their website, emails, communications, infrastructure, that sort of thing, that all comes out of the pocket of the officers that make up the board of directors. And they actually were founded, this organization started off as the chain of command of a specific infantry battalion. And over the years, they discovered that their soldiers were having some struggles with substance abuse, and some even committed suicide. So the chain of command got together and said, we need to do something about this. And then over time, they said, hey, this problem is more than just for our battalion. So they changed the name of the organization and they made it national. And to date, they've intervened. Today is March, 18th. They've had over 160 cases that they've intervened. Now, it's not to say that 160 individuals were going to commit suicide, but it was 160 individuals that were struggling, and they were at that critical state of making a bad judgment call, and so they intervened. So
no, and that's good, because a lot of guys, there's so many different nonprofits out there geared towards the 22 and this and that, but this one's really good because with the obviously the finances play a huge role, absolutely huge role in the stress that comes on with fighting the demons. So I think that's awesome cause, and I think it's great. So whatever we can do to help out and bring them some huge funds and have a good time while doing it, I think is absolutely a win-win.
Yeah, I mean, we've got live entertainment. We just had a band commit. They're playing for free. That's their donation to us as a service, and they're an extremely popular band. They're called Wirewood Station. They're an acoustic band. They play rock and bluegrass, country. I mean, a lot of different genres, but they're extremely popular out here. So, just them alone, they have a huge following. Just them alone are going to bring quite a few people. And with the beer garden, that's going to be just an awesome venue. Yeah.
That's sweet. Well, right on. Well, that's pretty much it, I think.
I think so.
We'll put up links. Look for these. We'll spread these around. And if you can see it all right. But we'll put up links to all this stuff. We'll put up the pictures. We'll put up the phone numbers. So any questions you guys have regarding the CVMA, Battle Forge Nation, with the VRV, with getting vendor booths, whatever you guys need, reach out to us. Even if you're in need of whatever, give us a call. We always answer the phone. So we'll point you in the right direction if we can't help you ourselves. So from that, yeah, we're gonna put this on here, so everybody please share it. Let's spread the word. Let's get this out here. Let's make this a huge. Let's just take over this town. So I'd love for it to just just be pure veterans out there, like veteran businesses, where the community knows where to go and support us and support the mission. So from that, I thank you, Art. Thanks for letting me come in on this. And so I hope hopefully this will be a good turnout. It will.
Hey, be a part of history.
Yes. All right, guys. You guys take care and thank you.